more, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did. The odds is real big, jobs that's real big. Satan trying a little, my God is real big. Stayed up on the grind on the cars is real big. I gotta do it big, the only way that I can live. And I promise I'm trying to. Before you count me out, homie, let me remind you, they was blocking the shine. Now I think it's my time to. Counting them dollar signs like lights, they'll blind you. Let me rewind to back when I was broke and I couldn't acquire 2 cents, and now I got 2 rents. They was sleeping on me, homie, must have got too big. Call my phone, I be like, who this? Damn right, hell yeah, I'm brand new. Smell like Cant too. I'm fresh forever like canned food. Try and tell me what I can't do.
Was you like rapping in the background a few minutes ago, Mel?
Just kidding. I was, you know,
I was like,
the words to this thing. So now I'm like, here we go.
Oh, okay. That's what we're doing. All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful Saturday. Hope you had a great day. This is a new episode, as usual, for us. So, something in your throat? Did you get the hairball out? You got it?
Oh, yeah. I'm good.
Oh, okay, you good?
Yeah.
You need to wet your throat now?
Wet my whistle. See, I can't even whistle.
For real, come on now. Y'all know tonight, not tonight.
You know what?
I can't do this.
Here we go. Woo, the antics are starting.
I didn't do nothing.
We have to do this. We got to keep Nika Pinks up.
Because you know the extra laugh.
She got the giggles right now. It's a wrap.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
it's about to be
shit serious tonight.
nice try. Nice try.
Oh,
You can sit there and talk about boobies and she gonna bust out laughing.
Man, I'm saying. Okay. Well.
Let's talk about that one man that had that one wooden leg and it was still too short.
Chill out.
And he's walking circles.
You know what? All right. So, as we see, my co-host is already on 10 today. Already. So, Mr. Devil's Advocate and Miss Nika Pinks in the house as usual on some other
dizzle
type stuff.
No, we on the serious tip.
Okay. And lo and behold, we have Mr. K Smooth back with us tonight.
He's in the building. Son.
Out here breaking
New York accent. Yeah, son. Yeah, B. Let me stop before I get cussed out.
We should have prayed tonight.
We don't talk like that.
This episode, we should have prayed.
we can still pray.
Where your smudge stick?
I know. Look, Kevin. I'm like this. I'm just like right there. So I'm like this.
We can still pray. Y'all want to pray? Damn, that's a fat blunt. What you doing?
She rolling it up. Get rid of these bad vibes.
She rolling it up. Roll it up.
Roll it up. That was just
roll it up. I ain't gonna say the other word, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
That used to be the jam.
All y'all weed heads watching this show, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
For real. Yes. So we gonna pray in the midst though that I can get through this episode without coughing up a lung. I really ain't got no more lungs left, but hey, we gonna make it do what it do. We're gonna pray that Nika Pink stay woke because she had some She had some different kind of concert before she got on here and
she had a drink.
We were sipping.
She has your smudge stick is not getting rid of those spirits.
No, not at all. She's gonna have to smudge herself on that end.
They're literally high vibrational. No, I'm just playing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? Don't play it off.
Okay.
Don't play it off like he's not high.
No, I'm good. We're gonna be for real tonight because this is for real. This is real right here. So we gonna be for real.
Okay. All right. So take it everybody week went all right, I guess. Kind of sort of.
Oh, look.
Man, my work. Oh my
Jesus.
God. I got some news on Friday. I was in class 6, which is our liquor store. Sitting there looking, pacing back and forth. Should I get it? Should I get it? Should I get it? Yeah. It was draining. Yeah, I'll tell y'all about it later, maybe, if I don't forget.
That's good as forgotten.
No, I had a great week. I had a wonderful.
I bet you did. Who booty you rubbed on this week, Kevin? You rubbed on somebody's booty.
I'll tell you about it later.
It must have been a good one. He threw the hands up like, Lord, thank you.
Then rub the hands together.
I'm gonna let y'all think that.
Well, all right. I don't know.
He must have got that scripper booty.
Something. Nikki Pink's got the magic stick with some other stuff. He's glowing. I was like, look at him.
Come and get yourself glow.
No, not even. My week was eventful. I had to go back to work after a 3-day break. So I was kind of like, why the fuck do I work here again? And why do I have to work with peasants? I'm like, I should be rich by now and not have to do this peasant shit.
Hey, we could be. We'll talk about it later.
Man,
We'll talk about that later, yeah. And then y'all know I got hacked, and they spent my money. So that was part 2 of my week.
Wow.
What got hacked?
I don't know what happened. I just got an alert on my phone that I had made a transaction. And I'm like, what? How that happened? I'm here at the house. Went and checked my account. $541 was spent at the academy. And I'm like, how the hell that happened?
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of shit. So,
wow. They at the right spot. They at the sports place.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell did y'all buy for 541? Everybody got shoes, something. They didn't spend it up getting something.
They're a track star.
And whoever they are, little dirty bitches, I hope you catch on fire. Your raggedy ass.
Tell them that's a donation to their future.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I get, but I see we was kind of breathing some of the same air. So apparently, flu bug wanted to come jump on me, and but my going back to work was kind of similar to how you felt. I was like,
you sure it was flu and not coronavirus?
No, sir. I took 3 COVID tests. It was not COVID, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're the good one, because I'm telling you, that COVID ain't nothing.
Man,
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
That damn flu. So I was wondering if it was COVID, because hell, I thought it started off as allergies, and then it just went left somewhere. It went down the street, around the corner, and it was gone from there. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, them boogers got strong, huh?
Man, say that. It was that damn cough. So like that donkey was kicking me in my chest. What the hell is going on around here? So yeah, I didn't ask for all that right there though, but
why y'all ain't tell me I was greasy? I was greasy with that.
Cause you the shea butter, baby.
I look chromed out. Like damn.
You swim in shea butter. Like
I gotta stay soft, but damn. Look like I was.
Head pop.
The facial expressions ain't gold. Yeah.
I told you.
I got the line from wearing my hat. I got the line from wearing my hat right there. I'm like,
that's because your hat too small.
Oh, now my head too big.
Oh, okay.
Either or. Tomato.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
Pretty much, yeah. All right.
So what we talking about today?
All right. So first, Paul Wayne said he got took for $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
Bless you.
Stop lying. Stop lying. You know your ass was at the strip club. You trying to write off?
3K. If I'd have got took for 3K, I promise you,
I
I
don't know how to
wouldn't
explain
see me
that
on
shit.
this podcast. I'd be somewhere in jail because I'd have drove to motherfucking Houston and been looking up academies trying to figure out which one so I could do something and can't do shit. But I'd have been that mad.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
I couldn't imagine.
Oh.
I couldn't imagine you mad at anything.
I be wanting to do shit. I just,
y'all. I ain't gonna say what I want to say. I ain't gonna say it because
we won't.
Nothing. All right. So, tonight's topic was stemmed off of I guess it's a TikTok that was posted to the IG that for me it was relatable as hell to me. I don't know if it's really kind of taken off, but we had like somebody ask on one of our IG pages about like, when are y'all gonna have this topic and when are y'all gonna discuss this? So of course, we gotta kind of give the fans what they want. So and we definitely appreciate the fans and the follows always. But like I said, it was relatable. It was very relatable. So I think pretty much most of us have seen it. Because I know I sent it in the messenger. But let me get it. So I think she kind of then did a spin off on it. But yeah, I think it was pretty relatable because I think our kids even think that to a point. So let me get
Oh, how beautiful.
Ain't it though? So cute. Mm-hmm. I am cute. I am. Yeah. See if I can get it pulled from the actual factuals. The actual factuals. Okay. Here you go.
My mama.
Your mama ain't do it.
Gonna let it play that.
Your mama ain't got no clothes.
Really?
What?
Your mama jokes from back in the day used to be on point though, right? They used to hurt people's feelings. What's the worst your mama joke you ever told?
Your mama ain't got no drawers.
I ain't gonna. Never mind.
When she took them off.
Your mama ain't got no what? What, Kevin? Wait, what? What was that?
It used to sing stuff like that. Your mama ain't got no drawers, ding dong. I saw when she took them off, ding dong. She put them on the tree, ding dong. The tree went woo-wee. You ain't.
I ain't never heard that before, Kevin.
I ain't heard that one either.
It's the girls used to do it. The girls used to do it when they was doing this, and then they'd be like, "Yo, mama ain't got no drawers." And I'd be like, just sitting there like,
you was a bully. Excuse me.
Y'all, wow.
You was over there taking in them words because you was over there taking in them words because you.
Oh, I can sing them. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I'm just.
That's why a certain person should not have started nothing with me.
Oh well.
Oh, do tell. I'm about to get messy. Do tell.
Why are we being messy?
My mama ain't got no bunch of generational wealth. My mama ain't got no bunch of generational wealth. She ain't got no bunch of money. If I need to go right now to do something, or if I wanted a car or to borrow 10,000, she ain't got it. So really, all the shit she was telling me was just her surviving day to day. I got to get out here in the world and figure this shit out. And then we realized
like we wasn't taught stress management. We never had no conversations about how emotions will fuck your life up if you make decisions based. This is stuff that we wasn't taught. We taught how to cook, clean, match up your clothes, make sure your drawers clean. Don't leave out the house without brushing your teeth, shit like that. But nobody said like you could be going through a heartbreak in a relationship and be overwhelmed with emotion, but you still gotta take your ass to work. And if you go to them people's job acting crazy, they will fire your ass. You won't be able to pay your bills. As your mama, I don't got no money to pay your bills. You will be homeless. You have to come back here. People will start judging you because you live at home. Like nobody's saying this shit. Nobody's saying like if you don't have credit, you're gonna have to work your ass off to buy everything because people are gonna look at you like if you ain't got the money, you ain't got nothing. My mama ain't got no bunch of generational wealth. She ain't got no bunch of money. If I needed a rent right now to do something, or if I wanted a car or to borrow.
Okay, so that right there was relatable as hell to me. It very much was, because I think growing up, we teach our kids like certain things, but we don't really tell them life, them knee breaking moments in life. Like for instance, the breakup. That shit was relatable as hell to me. Like my mama never told me, girl, you gonna get your heart broken one day and you still gonna have to show up and show out. Ain't nobody ever told me that at all. So because I know all of us been around the world a little bit, some more than others. So what was that bad breakup experience when you still had to function? I'm gonna need you to come off mute because you really talking and you is muted like hell.
Oh, that must have been God saying something. You might want to say nothing. Because I forgot what I was about to say.
Oh Lord, fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. Yeah, fix it, Jesus. You really forgot what you was gonna say?
That's the first.
Man.
Anyway, somebody else say something so I can remember.
Say something.
Oh, I know what I was saying. Okay.
Like, you got it together?
Yeah. When you said when you was talking about the heartbreak experience, it's life. Life is a fucking heartbreak experience because who here is doing what they wanted to do when they was younger?
Explain.
Like, you know, when you growing up, oh, I'm gonna grow up to be this, I'm gonna grow up to be that, I'm gonna grow up to be that. Who did it? You see what I'm saying? So I agree when it comes to when she said that her mom and stuff, the generation prior to us did not prepare us for that type of shit. However, I feel like that we can't keep continuously blaming them for that, especially now in the day and age of technology, because you can Google anything right now and learn and educate yourself. And I'm learning now that it's never too late to get this information, to learn this stuff and pass it on to the generation. Because the reality of it is the only time it's late is when your ass is getting put 10 toes up and put in the ground. And that's just my thoughts. And yeah.
Because I don't know. And I mean, everybody is different, but reading that on the internet ain't gonna do it for me. I'm gonna need somebody with that and been through Yeah, I'm gonna need somebody that been through the storm and the rain to be like, say, one day you gonna experience yada 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 yada. Because we know stuff people lie on Facebook all day and other social
I didn't
media
say Facebook. I just
things.
said
I'm just saying, I said that's why I said other social media. People lie all day. But I'm gonna need like granny, great aunt, somebody. I'm gonna need somebody in the trenches to be like, say, one day, and
but the thing
give
is,
me the deal, give me the deets on how they day went and how they went. I'm gonna need a heads up. I'm just
but
saying.
again, you can't. True, especially now, you can't go off. You can't do the same thing they did back then because they're stressors. Now they can say, "Hey, you're gonna get your heart broke," and here are some things to that can possibly help you uh ride with the punches, but you have to look at the day and age that they went through stuff versus day and age that we're going through stuff.
Uh,
So
I think the thing still goes back to getting that information. When you're young, to know what to expect, to be prepared for the real life experiences. Like, a lot of people do not get that. We get the general necessities to get you to 18, to where we can boop you out the house,
Yep.
live
Don't
and
be.
do your thing. But the other stuff that comes after we get 18, that we need to know to survive and not lose our damn minds while we out there, is the stuff a lot of us feel like we don't get. And I know right now we may have the era of technology where we can go to Google, but by the time we go into Google, it's because we're already knee deep in the experience or whatever it is that we need to know, that now we're trying to look it up and get information for somebody to help us. I don't want it to be in the current where now I have to look for the information. Give me that shit so when I grow up and I start experiencing that shit, I could be like, oh, my mama told me, my grandma told me, somebody told me. I remember what they said.
Yeah.
A lot of us didn't have that part of it.
but
It's like
I go ahead.
it's like that song. Mama said there'll be days like this. Like,
And
let
I
me
was about
know
to
that
say
they're gonna be days like it ain't
I was about to say
like
that.
true. I mean, there'll be things that we may pinpoint. Some things that we probably, hey, we probably going through some stuff, real talk, that our parents didn't go through. So it kind of wasn't no way to give a heads up. But some things it'd be like, hey, just I can be like, oh, I remember when my grandma told me this. Oh, I remember when grandma told me how she beat grandpa with that broom when he got caught cheating. Like, I'ma just need to give me the storylines. Them old stories back in the day. First of all, they was interesting as hell. Number one. But two, give me that little bit of knowledge. Cause that's the thing, that one thing that Googling on Google can't do. Google can't give me that good story told from somebody that feet was really in the situation that I know, and it can't give me the little sauce in life that I need. Because I mean, some of them old stories you be thinking about, you be like, ooh, Granny was gangster. Ooh, okay.
But see, I think I don't think people were. What's the word I'm looking for?
Open.
Nah, not open. They were trying to protect you. That's the word. From protect you from that stuff, and I think it's a gift and a curse at the same time. They're trying to protect you from getting that knowledge too early and preventing you from life experiences, but at the same time they didn't give you the heads up like, yo, you may go through this. So yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I can see that.
I can remember, and I was young, so I know I remember this. I was with my grandmother, and she had hugged me, and I seen her crying, and I said, "Why you crying, Grandma?" And she said, if I could just take you all the way from this, take you all the way from this. And I never knew what she was talking about at that time. But I later on, when I got to be in my teenage years, found out my grandfather was a Rolling Stone. And I'm like, what? He did what? And this and that, what? So yeah, it's a lot of stuff that they try to hide from you. And my grandmother could have been like my grandfather, but she had my mom and her sister, so she really couldn't just like get up and go because she had stopped working for the railroad at the time. So I was just like, wow, a lot of stuff went on and a lot of stuff go on, and like you said, you need to know a lot of this stuff, and it needs to be told so that we could try not to repeat this stuff.
But
You know,
okay, so if nothing, go ahead. I'm sorry. Just thinking. I need to write my thought down.
You're gonna forget it before you finish it. But I agree, because I mean, granted, and it's just not that, it's just stories. I think even in general, I used to love just like sitting amongst the old folks. People always said I was an old soul, but I used to love sitting them up, under my auntie, my grandmother, and just hearing some of the old stories. Like telling them, them stories need to be told, because they say our history one is so watered down over the years. The history and everything else. So, I mean, I believe those things need to be told. And I think even in fact, I think all of us thought our mama and our daddy always had money. That money was like, at one time, just they had money. We out McDonald's.
That's one thing I feel that they should have been passed on is money and how to deal with it and the impact and the effect of money. Because like you just said, we as kids always thought our parents had money. We could have been broke as shit, but we thinking, oh, $100 is $1 million in our time.
Yeah.
You see that? That might be the last $100 that he see for the next 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, real talk.
When my grandfather died, I looked at some of his old checks from the post office, and I was like, "That's it."
Yeah,
he made it seem like he had $1,000 in his pocket, and I was just like, but then I also found out that the house note was only like $100 a month, so
yeah,
he made it do. He made it do what it do, and a lot of stuff back then, finances was different, people were different.
Yeah.
The only thing I believe that people hang on to is family, I guess, secrets. Like certain families, if you go to jail, you don't know what happened to Junebug because you ain't seen Junebug in a while, and you go ask somebody, man, what happened to Junebug? Man, I ain't seen him myself. He just been MIA, and so you don't see him and hear from them the next 5 years, and then boom, they pop up. He been in jail.
Nah, no. Well, that shit ain't happening in our family. Everybody that went to jail, we knew. Oh, where your uncle at? Where your uncle at? Where your cousin at? Oh, his ass in jail.
No,
he locked up.
I'm talking about like friends and stuff. Like you go.
Oh
ask
no,
they
yeah,
family.
we talked. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, like
we
you
knew
go
who
ask
went to jail and who didn't.
See, that's what happened. My guy was in jail, and we was asking about him, and boom, my guy say, man, he was locked up. Locked up. And here come the story.
They won't let me out.
Nah, no. One thing I would say about my family, which I found out as I got older, my family gangsters. Like both sides of the family, like my family gangsters. And I laugh because I say, okay, now I see it going through the bloodline on both sides. So talking about somebody going to jail, nah, that was just like somebody going to college. Where your cousin at? Oh, he in jail. But the thing that the folks didn't talk about, which we found out later in life, is that person in the neighborhood or in your family that they say stay away from, or don't leave your kids next to, like that.
That part.
Yep.
Don't go
Yep.
by
That
yourself.
part.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's the thing. Like I understand. I'm trying to say it. Well, I'm gonna just say it. I understand where it comes from because of stuff that's been passed down through generations. Like you got to keep everything in house, or it'll cause issues outside the
Mm-hmm.
house, i.e., with the slave owners and stuff like that. But we have to get out of that mindset of we feel like we're protecting our kids from this, our kids from all of this stuff, because you're not telling them exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's why they not saying nothing when shit is happening. You know,
Right.
they don't want to be shunned. They don't want to be ashamed. They don't want to feel different. It's
Mm-hmm.
like,
That's the flip side to it, because they already know, like, if case in point, if mama's boyfriend touched me, or daddy's girlfriend touched me, because that happens, um, they gonna disown me, and they not gonna believe me. They gonna believe them, and that happens.
Lies.
That happens. I mean, it may
Yeah.
not happen with y'all,
No,
but
I'm saying lies on my end as far as mommy not gonna do.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
we all know back then that that's happened, and that's one of them things that
and it's
should
still
have
happening.
been, still happening.
Yeah, it's still, yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Shoot,
it's
add
still
Kevin
happening.
to the list now because that's what's going on. But and that not telling back in the day of who you shouldn't have your kids around, and I had that not telling still created issues as well.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cause then, like, by them not telling, they start, instead of looking externally, they start looking internally and start looking at themselves like, you know how the old people, oh, she just fast, and they start thinking, oh,
Mm.
am I fast? And then
Mm.
they start
That's
experimenting, and then the next thing you know, they
that's
12 years old with a baby.
Yeah, them
that's
pissy tail girls, the little fast ass little girls. That's what
Yeah,
they used to say.
that's that's now this really hits because my youngest stepdaughter, um when they was down in Georgia, I guess her mom's friend came back looking for her, and she told her, well, she not here. Well, my youngest stepdaughter was there with my son, and voila, she closed the door. He put his foot in the door, and then he raped her. Um, she ended up telling her mama. Everything was cool at first, but then she flat out, I guess, told her, "I don't believe you. I believe you wanted him, and you let him have it." And I was like, "What?" Which, in return, she had a nervous breakdown, and she was found a mile away from the crib, walking in a vacant spot, naked. So that just blew me because I wasn't able to be there. Um,
nah, that saved your life,
and
cause yeah, it'd have been a misunderstanding.
and and for her not to believe her, I didn't want, and T knows this. I don't really want to say nothing to her to set her off because then she'll move and I won't find out where the hell they living at. But at that moment, I just shut my mouth and I was just really, really heated. So yeah, it you got the part where the person don't want to tell, then you got the part where the person do tell, and if they do tell, will they get believed? Will they believe me? Whatnot. So that's a that's a really damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Yeah, and most mothers are like that. They don't believe. or they believe that you enticed them, or you was
You was
being
fast. That's small.
seductive. You know,
Yep.
you bent over to pick up your toy, and that enticed them or something in some manner. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
fuck shit. So
Right.
yeah, and real talk, that happens a lot. That's why a lot of times, Black kids don't tell their Black mothers, because they
Mother
already
or father.
know how she's going to respond. If you
Right.
study that person and you listen and how she operate, you pretty much already know what she's gonna say. So that even just changes your trajectory of you even wanting to say anything to her or
Or the,
some of the
Mm-hmm.
other Black women in your family.
yeah, or the flip side to that, like Kevin just said, like they don't want to tell their fathers what's going on because they already know how they gonna react. It's gonna be some smoke in the city, and now they lose both parents versus just one. So that's like you said, he had to bite his tongue because if he would have said something or did something, he would have lost her forever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a tough position for a black man to be in because you know what you want to do. You know exactly what you want to do, but you know the consequences. You have to weigh the consequences, and then on top of that, you feel like you are the protector, and at that time you can protect your child. So then you start questioning yourself. And that shit is rough, like for real. So I mean, it's all the way around bad when it comes to that situation. Now, let me throw the caveat out there: fathers who care. That's what I'm gonna say. Men who care. You know, you got your dudes like, oh, that ain't my child, or oh, that wasn't in my house, or they'll believe the mama. Oh, the mama said you were doing this anyway, so you deserve it or some shit like that. Now them motherfuckers, my heart pumps frozen peanut butter for them. So yeah, but the rest of them, yeah, it's a difficult situation.
So we're going to the comments.
Yeah.
Um, because that question right there. One of the things Simone shared, she said Black parents and grandparents should teach the kids how to conduct themselves if they're racially profiled.
But I agree to a point.
I
I
do
said,
as well.
and I said because in the 60s and 70s, well, shit, 50s, 60s, and 70s, they knew where and where not to go. So I know the racial profiling happened, but there were things done to prevent majority of it. Now we got free reign, so it could be out of the blue. You could be you could be in your neighborhood doing what you're supposed to do and still get racially profiled. And
Yep.
the not what's the word I'm looking for? What happened to you will be different. Like now with body cams and all that stuff, it takes a lot. There's a lot more things to pin it on that officer versus back then. They could beat your ass, put you in a ditch, and say you resisted, and nobody hear about
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yep. They
Nobody hear
double.
about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what they used to do.
and so it's like they have to they have to uh uh the way they operated is different from the way we operated, and you can tell by if you listen to the elders, the grandparents, and sometimes mothers on your parents, depending on how old they are, you can listen how when they interact with other races and stuff, you can see some of the remnants of that too. They're very standoffish. They don't trust people. They don't trust people that don't look like them. They'll like I love my grandfather to death. The Christian to the day he died, but he did not like white people, and I understood why. I shouldn't say he did not like them. He didn't trust them, and I understood why. I mean, if you see a white dude shoot your uncle to death in the street and leave him there, I wouldn't trust him either. And that's just one occasion. That's not everything that happened. I wouldn't trust him either. So Yeah, as far as the teaching on racial profile, I could that's a different ball game because a lot of the stuff that they experience, we're not going to experience, and vice versa.
I didn't I didn't get taught none of that, none of it. Um, at one point, my grandmother was like, "White people can't be trusted,"
Mm-hmm.
and I, and every time something come up, it proved her right. And when I used to get pulled over, I mean, they didn't send me through the ringer, but it was like pulling me over for my 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 son's shoes hanging from the window, and I'm like, yeah, you know you can't have that up there. And then he said, well, your license plate light out. I said, officer, can I see? I just came from dialysis. No, don't worry about it. Then he let me go. I was like, cause I knew my license plate light wasn't out. It's man, the profiling from now to back then is totally different. It is. Um, they'll because they'll pull you over just to be. I got pulled over for looking at Christmas lights. He was like, pulled me over and he said, what you doing in this neighborhood? I said, officer, we just riding through looking at the lights. I said, why you pull me over? We got a report of a burglar. Really?
I got that. I got the they pulled me over and they
Mm-hmm.
said I fit the description, and I'm like, the fuck, I fit the description of a fucking building. Like, I mean, I know I stick the fuck out. Like, if I commit a crime, I already know I'm getting caught. Like, period. Like, so yeah, I actually told him like, bro, you need to come up with a better excuse. I said, cause a 6'4" black man in a Jetta. I don't know what description that is. I'm more like a clown car. Goddamn. Yeah.
Mm. So, Simone said, how can a child entice an adult who isn't sexually attracted to children?
But here's the thing. Because we like in the army, we deal with that, and we like being in behavioral health, mental health. We talk about that. Those things are those type of emotions that come from people being I'm just saying people being awkward, like not really having social skills, or they have uh social skills of a little kid, and also their power dynamic. So it could go one of those ways. Like I hate to use this example, but Michael Jackson had the personality of a child. When he wasn't on stage, he was you watch how he moved. He moved like a child. So he can relate to children more than he could relate to adults. Not saying he molested kids or anything. I'm just saying that's how he operated. That was his mental state. He can relate to kids more than he can relate to adults. Some people are like that. And then you have the flip side to that is that power struggle. Like I can I have dominion over you. And that's sick, but yeah, in some situations it's like that.
Gotcha. Alrighty. Um,
So but I want to talk about I really do want to talk about the experiences. Like now, the more and more I think about it, we talk about the untold black truths. I think the reason why and this is just me. Again, the reason why they're not being told is also could be that they don't know. Like we're saying it now. Like our kids are experiencing or have access or being exposed to a lot more shit than we were as we grew up. So we as parents don't know or haven't experienced the shit that they're going through. And that's the same thing with our parents. Our parents had a different struggle, different thing that they were exposed to versus us. Um, but I feel like that could have been easily remedied by just giving us the basics. Oh, like you will when you feel like you're in love with, and they probably did, and we just didn't listen. Or when you feel like you're in love with this person, blah blah blah, and it was like, baby, just keep living, keep living. You met one, you're gonna meet the next one, blah 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 blah. Well, we didn't want to listen. Got our heart broke. Now we sitting there crying and snot and singing Keith Sweat song and trying to figure out life.
And even with that, like keep living, another one's gonna come. For some people, that's not giving them knowledge. That's just basically giving them, oh, there's gonna be a better day. Things will get greater later. Like
That's a
people need
pacifier.
experiences and they need to have conversations, not that fluff bullshit you give
Mm,
to people. People need to be real with their kids. Like, and that's what a lot of us miss. That's what we didn't get. That's what was hidden. Those are the truths and the stuff that should have been told, but they knew a lot of stuff. I feel like they knew, even like credit. They knew a lot of them fucked up their kids' credit. Oh no,
Woo!
they knew they shit was bad, and they know they fucked it up, and now they go and put
Listen,
that shit on their kids.
I'm
So
glad
how
you
can
said
you
that.
explain to your kids how credit works?
I'm
mm-hmm,
glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because I'm
mm-hmm.
and
Like,
my go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, I'm just saying that kind of stuff, like financial, even though how their shit was different from ours. Okay, back then they still had bank accounts. Our parents had bank accounts. They had checks. They may not have did debit cards, but teaching your kids about, okay, now this is what an insufficient fee is. If you don't pay this back, if you overdraft, if you write that bad check, that should have been the type of stuff, money
Mm-hmm.
But
management and all that kind of stuff that needed to be
Mm-hmm.
discussed.
but but again, like I said
Yep.
earlier, like it was a get. They didn't want you to experience that. They didn't want you to feel that pressure.
That's
Also,
not pressure, that's life.
That
but
ain't
again,
pressure.
you're
That's
a child.
that's
Still a
that's
child.
that's not being in the business.
Yeah,
Th-
and
That's not
That's
being in their
life.
business because the only visual, because I didn't get a talking to, the only visual was every Saturday or whatever I see my grandfather. He sit there, he get the bills on the little TV table, and he write the check out for each bill, put it in the envelope, and my grandmother mail them off. That's how it worked. My grandmother didn't have control, didn't know what was in the account, and we definitely didn't know. So that was that. He didn't put nobody on his what any finances and what's going on with the bank and this, that, and the third. It was just, and then the only financial advice he gave me was when I started working as a teenager, put some away for yourself. I looked at them like, well, it ain't gonna be much because these bills is hit. And so
But you know what?
that's how it was.
They said that, and like, and this I'm saying this because I'm still learning the the finance game and everything. If they said that, that was a start because that's the first thing a lot of these financial and there's a lot of these billionaires and millionaires are saying always pay yourself first. That's the first
Right?
thing. The second thing is, and this is just from my experience and dealing with my family and stuff, that's all they knew. That's all they didn't know how to make your money work for you. They only knew how to work for your money. They only knew once you get paid, put it in a checking account. And also you got to remember too, back then in those times, you put it in a checking account. Checking accounts and savings accounts had nice returns to them. Not this little
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
1 point whatever we get now. They had
Zero
like
0.1%.
yeah, the savings accounts and checking accounts back then. Like I want to say checking accounts were like you got 3% returns. and then some savings account you get up to 10%. So they were correct by saying that. But what happened as what they didn't understand, and what I'm learning now, is inflation. They didn't know. They didn't know. They didn't understand inflation. All they knew is things kept getting more expensive. They didn't understand the underlying inflation and stuff. And this is stuff like I'm learning now, and I'm trying to teach my son, like, hey, just because this costs that, this is how much it's gonna cost later. Or don't put your money in this account, put it in this account, because you'll get this much money. That money sitting there will make you X amount of dollars at the end of the year. But they didn't know that. They just know work, put your money up, and that was it. And as far as the credit part, a lot of the people who fucked up their kids' credits is because they didn't understand credit. They knew that.
Oh, they understood.
No. I'm finna tell you what I mean by when I say understood. They knew you needed credit to get certain things. Like they used to say you need to and it wasn't really even credit. It was, they knew I need to put the phone bill in my baby name because I already got a couple phone bills. I got the phone cut off in my name. They didn't realize. They didn't think about the how you can use other people's money to get more stuff than what you got now. That's the thing. What I mean when they talk about credit, they fucked up kids' credit before they could spell credit. Yeah, they did that because that was a means of survival. I needed a phone.
Yep.
I fucked up my money, so only thing else I got little neat right here. So I'm gonna put the phone in her name so we can still have a phone. I'm gonna put the lights in John and Ray name because so we can keep the lights on.
Okay, so boom, right there is the conversation that they had the knowledge and that needed to be. Baby, I fucked up my credit.
That's what I'm saying.
They didn't have the knowledge. Credit. I do not have the ability to get a phone, lights, whatever in my name.
And that's not. Some people don't see that.
Do that because this is what's going to happen. That's the conversation.
But see, people don't see that as credit. They just seeing it as they fucked up their name. Because credit has so many facets. Yeah, credit has so many facets to it. When you talk about credit, you got credit cards, you got car loans, you got this, you got that, you got that. When it comes to credit, looking at it then, and I'm saying this from my experience dealing with my grandparents, because my grandfather, everything and this is part of the reason why I'm the way I am now. My grandfather, everything he bought in cash. Everything. Like he would go to a car dealership, say, I want that car. Oh, how you want to pay for it? He'll write out a check or go get a cashier check.
Yep.
When he bought houses, he did the exact same thing. He did not like loans, all that stuff. Once that started getting big, he was so against it. Like literally, me and my sisters and my mother literally had to go down there and explain to him what it is, what they're doing. And he still was resistant. He said, I got the money. Why am I want to pay this man when I already got the money in there? But once he started to realize how credit really, really worked, then he was like, okay, I'll do XYZ. Grandparents and parents didn't understand that. And that's why you hear people say we are 2-3 generations behind other ethnicities, because they knew it.
Yep.
But
because people told them. Yep.
Yeah, they knew it because that's how they survived. But they kept that information from us. So we're starting to catch up because now we're realizing, oh, I can use other people's money to get what I need to do, as long as I continue to move forward. And you can make a nice profit off of it, actually. But all that is what I'm saying is your parents didn't know because their parents didn't know. They're learning off of their parents.
I don't know. I definitely still disagree with that part.
And
But
that's
it
because like
is what it is. And maybe it's because you're being so technical with this is credit and loans and this and that.
but that's it is, yeah.
Wipe all of
Like
that out the picture. I'm saying you have stuff and you mess up your life with whatever. And instead of you giving your kids that knowledge of this is how I fucked up my life, don't be like me. Don't not pay a bill. Don't
that
not pay a bill on time. Don't not
they
pay a
do tell
bill.
you that.
That's what I'm talking about,
Your parents didn't say pay your bills on time? Didn't tell you to pay your bills on time?
sir.
No, I'm
I'm
asking.
having
I'm really asking. Like, I'm for real. Cause that's all my shit. That's all my people told me. Always pay your stuff on time. Did I listen? No. I'm be honest. No. Did I get my lights cut off a couple times? Yep. Did I live in a car? Yep. Did I experience stuff I probably shouldn't have? If I would have listened, yes.
Oh, well,
But
that's a whole different ball game than if you got it and still didn't listen.
but
But
again,
some
like
people
again,
prefer a different kind of teacher.
some people just don't know. Like you, like if I'm gonna use you for an example. If your mom went through that, she may have been embarrassed to tell you. And when you find out, you're like, what the fuck? How the hell I'm 18 years old and I done got three cell phone three two light bills and a cable bill in my name. She might be embarrassed to tell you.
So we gonna
Yep.
use embarrassment as the reason why we don't talk to
I'm
our
not
kids
even saying
about stuff.
embarrassment. These are viable options to look at.
Okay.
It's a like it's just not.
I know.
We just can't say we can't pinpoint like they did it on purpose. It's a lot because we don't know. We weren't in their shoes.
I know a couple of people that did that got cell phones in their oldest kid's name, and then she actually told them what she did, and they was like, "And you ain't get us a phone?" They was like, "Nope,"
That's funny.
and that was it, and that was it, and that was all the talk.
Hell, I know people. Who did it, and I still think it was genius. They did it. Like I forgot what they got in their. I forgot what they got in their kid's name. They did it. The kid turned 18. They told their child file bankruptcy. The kid filed bankruptcy at 18. By the time they got out of college, they had a motherfucking 800 credit score.
Wow.
By the time they got out of college, because the way it was done, the child was just starting for one. So when he filed bankruptcy, the whatever they had in there, they just wrote it off. So basically, he had credit, they established credit. Then he filed bankruptcy, so now he got new credit at 18. I was like, but they had to have that conversation, like you said. They had to have that conversation, like, this is what I did. I apologize. Blah blah blah. Matter of fact, my college roommate, that's what it happened to him. That's what I learned. That's what I learned about bankruptcy from. And I was just like, he said, yeah. So
Was he white or black?
Bro, I went to HBCU. No, I take that back because
Hey,
it's
white
some white
people
people at
go to
HBCU. Yeah, I'm about to say that it's white people at HBCU. Yeah, he was
See?
black. He was black. From Chicago, actually.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I
That's right.
understand. I understand that these are some of the things that hell, just a conversation about money is a conversation that we should have had.
It needs to be
Yeah,
had in every black household.
yeah.
Yes. And if you don't know, you need to find out.
And that's why
Yep.
I feel, and again, these are my opinions and these are my thoughts. That's why I feel we as a black community are fascinated with the shiny shit. You'll see motherfuckers spend $500-$600 on a goddamn coach purse, but living in Section 8 or living in an apartment with 100 and something pairs of Jordans. That's a fucking house. But nobody had that conversation with us. Nobody had that conversation like, hey, if you can do this, if you just put aside one, like I told, this what I told my son. If you want an Xbox, if you want this, make sure you have twice that in the bank, because when you spend that money, you still want to have that money left over. You don't want to spend all your money. You want to have something in the bank. And again, this is from experience. Did he listen at first? No, but he's starting to put two and two together, because now he on his own. Now he's making his own money, and he's saying, "Oh, my dad told me money don't last like that. If you blow it, I gotta wait till the next time I get paid, and it might be something else, or something may happen where, i.e., I gotta pay for my own plane ticket to come home because my crazy ass mama don't want to pay for it, and I don't have the money." So shit like that, and again, I had to learn that because I had to experience it, and the parents didn't experience it like we did. Okay, I'm sorry, I ain't mean to monopolize. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. I wonder what she do. I wonder
It bothers them. A lot of people will cry when I really break this down to them, but I explain, like, if you got children, as adolescents, we get to a certain age and we realize, like, our parents really didn't have it figured out. Like, they were just doing the best they can. And it's like, when you realize that, that's when you start listening to people in the world. You know how you see an 18, 19-year-old and they stop listening to mama said do this, or your daddy said, and they start really just doing their own thing. And we look at it as defiance. But that's that moment when it click in their mind that, especially for urban people, my mama ain't got no bunch of generational wealth. She ain't got no bunch of money. If I needed a rack right now to do something, or if I wanted a car or to borrow 10,000, she ain't got it. So really, all the shit she was telling me was just her surviving day to day. I got to get out here in the world and figure this shit out. And then we realized, like, we wasn't taught stress management. We never had no conversations about how emotions will life up if you make decisions based. This is stuff that we wasn't taught. We taught how to cook, clean, match up your clothes, make sure your drawers clean, don't leave out the house without brushing your teeth.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I think in this day and age, I think a lot of parents ain't telling their kids to brush their goddamn teeth and put on clean drawers.
Well, I think okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So when it comes to, oh God, I could go so many ways on that. Okay, I'm gonna let somebody else talk.
I know. I remember back in the day, me growing up, my grandmother was that one. You know, you always make sure you got on clean and good underwear when you go out, because you don't ever want to have an accident. You don't want to have an accident with holy underwear or dirty underwear. I was like, at that point, if we didn't have an accident, we really don't give a damn what the underwear look like. But that was them things. You always made sure you were presentable. You know, your hair comb, your teeth brushed, you got nice clothes on, you know, those kind of things. I think
You know
those
where that came
values
from,
are some
right?
of the things that we are like, where sometimes I feel like the ball gets dropped at.
You know where that came from, right?
Granted, yes, sometimes we can't have fresh haircuts or that hair that needs to be done, but a comb and a brush, a little grease, a little water do you wonders, versus you just saying, fuck it, I ain't got it, and just don't do nothing. Where did it come from, sir?
So, as you know, I look at history so we won't repeat it. That comes from the culture of us as Black people not wanting to be put in a box. When they say when you leave out the house, you want to look your best. When you leave, you want to look presentable. If you go back and look at the 1920s, 30s, 40s, you can see how Black people dress to fit in society. Now we're getting to the point where people are being individuals versus fitting in. People are being or like you can't. They got that whole only God can judge me type mentality. But back then, that's how they survived. If you look like something, people treated you like something. If you look like money, people treated you like money. And nowadays it's not so much. But I understand what you're talking about. But the washing your ass and brushing your teeth, that should be common knowledge. But the stress management, how can a person teach you how to manage stress when they're trying to figure out how to manage stress?
Now that part I can agree with you on. Yeah, because I mean, then mental health wasn't a big thing.
Mm-mm.
Mental health, that was one of the things you keep to yourself. You got
Mhm.
to be strong and push through it. So on that, I can kind of agree with you on,
Alcoholism,
because
weed, all that shit.
yeah, because back then I'm sure those things were just considered recreation. They
Mm,
wasn't considered as this is how I cope with my shit.
yeah. No, that was considered how they cope. But they were just saying, "Oh, I'm taking the
It
edge off."
was it was it was more alcohol involved in something, and it depended on where you was at. Heroin was rampant too, but
Yep.
I know with my grandfather and my grandmother, it was alcohol. Yep.
With my family, it was it was everything: weed, crack, heroin. Yeah,
Yeah.
they either. It's funny. It's either I
So
know I'm probably talking too much. It's either they pushed it or they used it. Yeah. But anyway,
I mean,
um,
yeah.
the hair combing part, I was telling somebody this the other day. I never did want to comb my hair going out to school. So my grandmother she would say, come here," and she would stand right here, and I'd be like, "What you mean stand right here?" I stand there, and she put a knee in my stomach and comb my hair,
Mm.
and I mean, and my hair be going backwards and stuff, and I'll just be like, "Oh my God, you
Well,
are you."
she said you wasn't gonna do it, so she gonna do it her way.
uh-huh.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But
So
how about the parts of we didn't know that the childhood trauma that we experienced in our childhood will be so evident and have so much power in our later days.
So let me ask you this: I wouldn't be me if I wouldn't do my job. Where did that come from?
Where did what come from?
Us the label of childhood trauma and affecting um adulthood.
Because
good
a lot of
question.
things just wasn't spoken. It wasn't supposed to be spoke of.
Was
You
it
just
wasn't spoken or
Right.
wasn't known?
I think
It wasn't
both.
supposed to. It wasn't supposed to be spoken. Just like
It was
when you say, "Hey, don't leave him around Uncle such and such." And if you do, you stay in there with him. And why? And they be like, "Why?"
but
Cause
again,
they
was it was it not spoken or not known? Because spoken means you know and you purposely ignore.
right,
Knowing, I mean not knowing is you're ignorant to the fact and you find out later. That's just like you find like you just for the example that you just used, um use it like you just said, they tell you what to do and you like why? But when you grow up they tell you later. Now you know like
right.
oh,
I hear what you saying.
mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good one. How come elderly black people these days don't say that no more? But I could from what my grandmother tells me a lot of the times now. That's I'm sorry, Simone Lewis wrote that, and this is what my grandmother tells me a lot of the time now. and it's disheartening and interesting at the same time. She tells me that we are living in different times, and she feels lost
Mm.
because she didn't have to deal with what we deal with. And the crazy part about it, when I had a conversation with her uh when George Floyd happened, and we were just talking about it, and I asked, and I came out and asked, I said, no, what do you feel about the nation right now? She said, baby, she said, y'all got it worse than we had it. She said, at least we knew our
Mm.
enemy. Y'all don't know who y'all
Mm.
enemy is. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
yeah. And that goes to the question, how come they don't say it no more? Because again, they don't know. They don't know what
Right.
we have it worse than what they have it. And so a lot of the things we're
Mm.
dealing with now, when it comes to when we talk about generational curses and all that stuff, we are learning, we are seeing, and just like they are seeing it, we're everybody's learning at the same time when it comes to. I feel like everybody's learning at the same time when it comes to the black community. Everybody, it's not like they knew they're beginning to understand. Sadly, at the end of their life, they're understanding what I did, what I experienced, what my my mother, which would be our great our great and great grandmother, passed down, has impacted their kids, which is our parents and us, and they're seeing what we're going through and how we're trying to make the changes, just like our parents are seeing it, and just like they're seeing it, and they're like, wow, we didn't have to deal with none of this. We didn't understand none of this. All we was trying to do is make it better for my kids and my kids' kids. Not understanding that, not just the physical part of it, but also the mental part of it.
So now I got a question. As growing up in a a nice black household,
Who
we
did
were
that?
never told that we were never told to love you, the love you word, the L word.
Mm. Oh.
It was no, it was no I love you. It was I know they love me because they're doing this for me, and they kiss on me, and they make sure I'm safe, and they make sure I got something to eat, and that's how I know. That's how I know. Um, had this conversation before. Uh, it wasn't until that I saw how my ex interacted with her aunties and her uncles, and they were saying "I love you" when they was leaving. And then I thought about that on the way back to the crib. I'm like, dang, we don't never say "I love you." And she was saying it to her parents, and I'm like looking at them, reciprocate the love and saying "I love you" back. And I'm just like, wow. So let me test this out. So I went to go visit my grandma, and she I was getting ready to leave, and I kissed her on the forehead. I said, "I love you, grandma," and she said, "You too." That's all she said was "you too." And when she said that, I just knew. I just knew it was a problem with us in the family saying the L word. And I know I never heard my grandfather say it, so that
Mm.
that just that just gave me proof.
Now I feel that because I got both sides of that. Um growing up, my dad's side of the family, my grandmother was very, very affectionate. She was grandma. She loved on you, hugged on you, um, told you the yeses and nos, what you was doing wrong, blah blah blah. But her responses to your wrong wasn't in a malicious way. She was, hey, you don't do this because this, or you do this because, she was that one. She tell you, life changing, how to, take care of yourself, check behind yourself, the things that should be done, kind of sort of thing. Um, so she was that kind. My dad, even for him to be, you know, most dudes don't do the affection thing, but he was that one that he would do that with me and my brothers. He would hug on us, love on us, tell us I love you, leave the forehead kisses. I got that on that side of the family. But when it came down to my mother's side of the family, that was her like even now, I get teased because I'm the affectionate one. When it comes to my nieces and nephews, I'm always hugging and
Oh
kissing on my
wow.
nieces and nephews, even my kids. I do that as well. And I know my brother is overhearing me have this conversation because he's one of them non-affectionate ones. Like my son will tell him, Uncle, I love you. You all right? That's his answer. He don't say I love
Oh.
you. He won't say I love you back. That he don't
Oh
do the
wow.
affection, hug, kiss. My mother is the same way.
Oh
Now,
wow.
where she wouldn't kiss and hug on pretty much us or the grandkids, I would say my son pulls that out of her. She will hug on him. He'll walk up and he's a
Mm.
hugger. He's like his mama. He'll walk up and hug and kiss you, that kind of thing. He likes to do the, kissing on the cheek, he'll hug you. So for him, I see him pulling that out of her where she didn't do that with me and my brother. She was never the I love you, I hug you type kiss, that like that side of the family just didn't. My grandmother, like I didn't never understand the battle of the grandmothers, because with this grandma, this was like considered the nice grandma, because grandma loved on you, hugged on you, showed you how to make cakes with you. She made your pancakes and with sugar syrup. But this grandma was, don't call her grandma, don't hug on her, don't kiss on her. She was anti with that. She wouldn't tell you she loved you, and I'm like, damn. So I used to call one the mean grandma, one the nice grandma. Of course, I was closer to the nice grandma. That was grandma to me because she did grandma things. But
Right.
it is that assumption, I think, a lot of times in our community, that because we do stuff for you or because you're family, that we love you and it don't need to be said. I personally disagree.
That well, yeah, yeah.
Because
That's what a lot of people think. That's what a lot of people think.
yeah,
Yeah.
I disagree. Because just because somebody is doing for you, I don't believe that that means that they love you, because you can do for people or operate in a certain way because that's what you're used to operating. Like there's people that have kids. They're gonna take care of their kids because they figure, okay, I'm their parent. That's what I'm supposed to do. But I ain't never got to tell them they love them.
Do
No, I'm gonna need you to open your mouth
right.
and talk and saying with me because
Right.
I need the hearing and the
Hear that.
action. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
big. My kids will tell you, my oldest probably be like, ugh, half the time. But she know, I'm gonna tell you every time I talk to you that I love you. And I'm gonna kiss you on the head and I'm gonna hug you. That's just your mama. That's just what I do. That's just me. She may not be that affectionate, but she's gonna get it. At this time in life, I still get that love from Santi. Unwilling or whatever. Even just before we start the podcast, Mom, can I have a hug? Of course, always.
Oh, you're gonna
We
get that forever.
Yeah. Now with him, I believe that I will. With him, I do believe that because he's very much, he'll just come up and just kiss me on the cheek just because. We have our little I love you game thing that we do. So we have different stuff, but I look at that part, and that's that part where I didn't want to be like my mother, because I always want my kids to know that I love them. Like I love my babies, that's my breath right there. I love my babies, just point blank period. And that's just me. That's just the way I show affection, and I've been like that since hell since I was pregnant with him. You know, even touching my stomach, talking, singing to him, whatever. Even when I had him, I was always kissing on him. That was my baby. And mom was, stop kissing on that. You don't give him kiss, but that's me. That's me. You go over there. But that's just that line. So it's crazy because like I said, I seen both parts. But I favored this part because to me that's why I got that love. And the love wasn't just the I love you, there was action with it as well. It wasn't that assumption of, damn, do they really like me? Because I never get told this. And like you said, you be looking at family and how they operate when my family, like I said, my dad's whole side. You see each other at family reunion, it's a hug and kiss, hey. And then you go on this side of the family and everybody looking like they strangers and enemies and ready to pull their gun and knives out and start shooting. And you like, what the hell? So Kevin, I get that. Understood.
Yeah,
So,
and then I also got told that my sperm donor's mother had seen me a few times, and she loved on me, and she really loved me. And I was like, and I carried that. I kind of carried that with me. I'm like, man, okay, I was a lovely kid.
So something in like listening to this, something from the movie Fences got me had me thinking. And it was a scene where Denzel
is this the clip you're wanting me to pull up?
Yeah, but don't worry about it because it's probably copyright and I don't want to get us in trouble and locked up and all that shit. But in the clip he's basically saying he don't have to like you, but he's doing what he's supposed to do as a man to provide everything for you. So that's his way of saying I love you because I did all of this for you.
Yeah.
And it goes back
I remember saying that.
Yeah, it goes back to what a lot of people said about, like what we said earlier about how they was trying to protect us from what was going on, all the things on the outside, and that's their way of saying they love you. That's their way of saying that because I did this is showing you how much I love you versus hearing the actual words. And again, that's one of the love languages, but at that time folks didn't see it as that, like that.
Yeah, like Simone said, she said it's important for kids to hear I love you from their family so they don't grow up looking for love in the wrong places.
I disagree with that. I disagree with the hearing part. I think it's more of they need to see it, because you can say I love you all the time and be getting your ass whooped by or you can be in a relationship with somebody and they can be like, oh, I love you, baby, and knock the fuck out you. Is that's the picture of love that you want to show?
Okay, but then our parents do that to us too.
What? No, I'm not talking about. No. I'm not talking about parent to child. I'm talking about parent to parent. So the husband is telling the wife, "I love you," but he beating the brakes off her every night, or saying, "I'm doing this because I love you." That type of shit. So
I can see that, but at the same time, for some people, and I'm not saying it's okay, but for some people, because I know I'm not the only one that's heard it, the mentality of some women is if he don't beat me, he don't love me.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah, oh my God.
That's where it comes from. That's exactly where That's exactly where it comes from. People imitate what they grow up with. So if they see their mama and daddy fighting all the goddamn time, mama throwing hot grits and daddy throwing her through a fucking wall, and they saying they love each other, or you see them hugged up the next day with black eyes and ice on each other, that's what the fuck they're gonna go out there and look for. That's exactly what they're gonna look for.
Yeah,
so
that's
what
lady
I'm saying.
said one day.
Just because you say I love you doesn't mean that's gonna show them the correct way to love somebody, and that's how you get the the generation after generation of people in this situation. Oh, uh, I got this because my daddy used to beat my mama, or my mama used to beat my daddy. So that's how you supposed to do it. Okay.
You know, and that's what I've always wondered with a lot of cats. Uh, why do they beat on women, and what's the root cause of it? This one guy told me he seen his dad do his mom like that,
Yeah.
and he figured that's how he's supposed to do. And I'm like, what?
Or or or
I don't know.
he saw his dad or mom get either disrespect or disrespected like that by the person they say they love. So he's emulating, okay, this is how you show love. Or it could be them. They be like, I'm doing this because I love you, beating the brakes off on for no fucking reason. It just depends.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Um, but yeah,
That's that's the that's actually I've always thought that was the reverse actions of seeing your parent beating the other
it,
parent, or your mother getting beat on. I thought that was an adverse reaction of a
it
guy
just
turn around and say, "Nah, I gotta beat on women because I seen my mother get beat on." That's bullshit.
it just depends on the
Because of
person.
the stuff that I've seen, right? But I'm saying that's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on all of it because I've seen it, and I'm not out here beating on women. Period.
But
Because
again, and like
I
that's what I said.
know my mama did. If my mama didn't like it, I know the next woman wouldn't like it,
Yeah.
But your mama
and I
probably
know it's different for everybody.
right. That's what I'm about to
You
say.
say what?
I mean, we can't say because my mama didn't like it that every woman gonna not like it. You don't know that what they
You
went through.
you right.
It could go back
You
to what
you
she's
right
saying.
because
Yeah,
you right because we this lady was cashing her check one day, and we all was cashing her check. We asked her. We say, "Why you let your husband treat you like that?" She actually told us, "He loves me because he beats me."
yeah.
Like what?
That's the mindset of it. Yeah, that's the mindset. It's a lot of people like that. He only do it because
And a lot
I
of
do
people.
stuff.
Well, a lot of women feel like they don't deserve love, and that's the best thing that they can get.
That yep.
And
But
nobody's telling them otherwise.
You right.
When you got a guy in your ear talking about, ain't nobody gonna want your ass. Don't nobody want you
Nope.
because you don't do this and that. Don't nobody. Some women listen to that shit, and now they're mentally jacked up. And
it's but it starts before that. It starts way before that. It starts with the like she's saying,
I,
kids need to hear "I love you" more. It starts with them.
yeah, yeah,
It could be the mama saying,
yeah,
"Ain't nobody gonna like your black ass. You too black. You too this. You too that." And shit like
Yeah.
that. Then the next thing you know, she going around letting people do whatever they want to her because she feels like that's the only thing that they want. That's what they want from. They just want your pussy, and then you end up with these situations. But that goes back to what we're talking about, the untold truth of that is that mother putting her own insecurities into that child.
right.
That's that mother putting her own guilt into that child, because 9 times out of 10, it's either when they say shit like that, it's either they in a relationship they don't want to be in because of whatever situation, or the man left them because whatever, and or the man upgraded, or vice versa with the kid, with the dude. It's the same thing. The
Right.
dad is like, nobody don't want no punk. Stop crying. Fuck wrong with you. Stop crying.
Uh-huh.
I'm gay.
Uh-huh.
Shit like that, and it's just a trickle down effect. And this now these are that's the stuff that we don't want to talk about. That's when we talk
That's
about
another
untold.
untold. And,
Yeah,
and you
when
got
we talk
another
about
untold truth about a life. Stop. These uncles and cousins and daddies need to quit telling their sons, cousins, and brothers, quit telling these young cats, as long as you keep pressuring her, she ain't going to give it up.
Ooh.
Oh.
that's
Stop
rape.
that bullshit right now. You got
Not
a
only
guy.
that,
Look, I know guys that do it. They just keep hollering at her. And she been saying no about 20 times. They was like, no, man, you ain't got to, you can blah, blah, boo, woo, woo, and boo, woo. And she just get tired of them and just, okay. And now everything done got toxic. Yeah. Uh-huh. And then now she calling them a loser. Like, what? Oh, my
not
God.
well.
This is crazy.
Yeah. And now I'm glad you brought that up. That's
Woo.
another thing we need to talk about too. Is how we don't talk about enough. Is how we deal with each other as black men and black women. Because
Mm-hmm.
growing up, I used to always hear, man, you just want to go out there and hit as many as you can and blah, 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 blah. And this, that, and this and that. And I'm just like, okay, so what if it's one that I like? Oh no, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'm like, well, bitch, I need to worry about that because if I run up on one that I like, what the fuck am I gonna do? And it's like they never. It's like for me, the only positive ish relationship I seen with my grandparents. Outside of that, and it's like
It was all
trying,
dysfunctional.
yeah, and trying to go through that and go through college and all that stuff. Being an athlete was that's a whole nother facet to itself when it comes to us as people. We're so fucking okay. I'm gonna get off that horse, but talking about relationships, we don't talk about how to court no more. We don't talk about it. I mean, the slow songs, yeah, that we used to listen to them. And, okay, you need to bring up flowers and this and this. Nah, if you need to get on the glizzy and do all this other shizzy and you need to do all this, then I'm just like,
Huh?
no wonder y'all dysfunctional. No wonder everybody having babies. But
Get on the shizzy with the dizzy and the wizzy.
yeah,
What?
for real, talking about the glizzy and all this other shit. He want a girl with a little bop in her and all this other shit. And I'm like, but I mean, it's good to dance to, but oh boy, yeah.
All
But I
right.
think all in all, it's like I said earlier, and I just literally came to that realization. Everybody's learning. Everybody's learning. Our grandparents, our parents, us, and we all trying to push all this information into our kids.
Yep.
And and it's a good thing, but I feel like we're going about it the wrong way. Like instead of having them drink out of a fire hydrant, you say, okay, here's a here's a situation. Like you're gonna experience this. When you do, come holler at me. Because us keep, oh, don't do this or this was blah 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 blah. They gonna listen, they gonna hear it, but they still gonna experiment. They still gonna try to figure out on their own. Then they'll come back like, hey, what I did didn't work. Like I told you, it's not gonna work. But again, those are just my thoughts.
Yeah, that's not gonna work for me. That went
You
all
said
the
it's a
way
what?
around. That part ain't gonna work for me. Come back to tell me after, like not trying to be mean. Folks checking up out of here left and right. You might not get time for that after. I'm gonna need you to go on there and tell me why we in this moment. Let me go and have a moment. Yeah, not the.
It don't matter. You could tell them the same thing. They still check out. Like so.
I don't know. I feel like this. many times in life, we do tell our kids stuff. Hey, don't do this. And they may not, or we feel they may not be listening at the time. But in reality, when it come back around, they say it, and then you be looking like, so you was listening. Because I ain't gonna
Was
lie,
listening.
me and Santi had these moments. I could say something, and I'd be like, are you listening to me? Yes, ma'am. And I'd be like, no, you ain't. And maybe a week or something, situation come, and he done repeated exactly what I said word for word. And I'd be like, so you was listening.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, okay. They take it in, and I believe a lot will take it in and apply it as needed when it's needed.
Yeah.
It's like having a bag of tricks. You turn around, I'm like, oh,
Yep.
shoot, let me go on here. Mama said, let me go and find that mama said stash. Mama said
Yep.
this for this situation.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's, that I do personally. I personally believe that. I don't think every kid is just not listening. Um, and sometimes many of us as parents, we come off as know-it-alls as well. So we can kind of at times turn them off to what's being said when we're trying to teach these little life lessons. But at the same time, I think they're taking it in. They just apply it.
Yeah.
At the time when you think they ain't listening, they come out and play, and you be like, oh, that'd be a little highlight for me though. I'll be like, no, you was listening to mommy.
Yep.
Oh. So yeah.
And I mean, why not tell them? If we can send them to school every day for them to sit in class 8 hours and hear a bunch of bullshit they probably won't even use for years and years down the line either, why can't we give them the same, messages and the same type of experiences and tell them stuff? So later down the line, if they need it, they have it. But if they don't need it, then great. It's still there. It was still given to them to use, rather than say, come to me when you need it.
They're not gonna remember that shit. That's what I'm saying.
Later.
I
They don't know that
disagree.
shit.
Well, you just logged back on, so
I
you
did. I
didn't
just.
I
I
can't
just.
you didn't
say
hear
that.
my
Yeah.
explanation.
I disagree. They remember. They
They
definitely
they
remember.
definitely
A friend
remember.
of mine, her son. Yep. Her son seen me. He was like, because the kids always call me pops. They be like, pops, I remember when you taught me how to work on the cars. He said I still be using that stuff now.
That's different. That's a skill that they need. Like that's something they probably
No,
to
because
do.
well, a lot of them will stand there and look at you and won't soak nothing in and won't ask no questions.
It
But
makes me wonder if it's this disagreement almost because of the things that as women that we wish we would have been told is different from the things y'all as men wish y'all would have been told. Maybe that could be it too, because it's stuff that, for us it should have been said. Like another thing, I don't know if y'all had, I know y'all didn't have these conversations about these older men who are trying to talk to young girls in high school. That kind of stuff. Did y'all parents
No,
talk to y'all about stuff like that? These
no,
so
older people that
so
want to
no,
so
holler
let
and
me
okay, so
no.
those are stuff that
so
we have to go
here's the
through
thing.
as
Here
girls in high school too.
when it comes to that shit was from when I grew up, that shit was that was a trophy. Like it didn't matter if you was a girl or boy. If you had somebody older with a car, that's what it
Older.
was.
Yep,
With a
Yeah.
yep, yep,
you
yep.
you was a
If the
shit. That
girl
was
was
a
getting in there with,
yeah.
if you was a guy and the girl you like was getting in the car with a dude, you know he was older, and you was like, you bastard, you got a goddamn car. Whatever. I can't win with that. Yeah,
And
that
not
that
only
was
that,
something. Uh,
yeah, not only that, it was like that with the dudes too. Like if you got a girl that had a car or a college chick, you was a shit. Or shit,
right,
a grown ass
right.
woman in her 20s. You 16,
Yep,
17, and she 23, 24, 25. That's a status.
And see, the conversation that
yep.
should have been had is it not being a status, but that
Mm-mm.
not being okay. So if the
Exactly.
conversation was had, we wouldn't have been in
Exactly.
those type of positions.
Exactly.
So that's the kind of stuff that
Mhm.
needed to be talked about, and they weren't.
But
Agreed.
see,
Wait,
when
hold on. Simone
when
say
you
you
see
don't see
people,
grown women driving by high school trying to hit on women, hit on boys. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's more accepted. Yes, you
Mm.
do. It's more accepted. It's grown ass. Trust me, especially the athletes. Trust and believe me when I tell you this. It's grown ass women. Hell, it's teachers in the motherfucking school doing it. So yes, it's grown women driving by high school, pick trying to hit on the athlete. Ooh, girl, he got this. I bet you he could fuck all night. Ooh, girl, he got that. Da 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 da. Yes, it is.
Hmm. But
So
I bet if his mother or her mother were having those talks,
yeah, you're
that
right.
kind of
You're
shit
absolutely right.
wouldn't be accepted.
You're absolutely right. But then the question goes to, are do they know? That's the question. Do they know?
well, if
Does
the
who
parents
know?
don't talk to them about it, they don't. Well, he won't know, and they'll probably feel like they coming up. They boys
Yeah,
talking about, oh man, you got an older woman,
yeah,
man, you got it, going on.
yeah,
You get, and it's
yeah.
the same way with the girls.
When have you ever seen that?
If the
When have
girl,
you ever seen that happen? I'm reading the comments. I'm sorry. I need to stop. I need to read silently.
that's, I mean, just conversations, period, about certain things you go through or whatever. Like you said, it was not had, and I know uh, the only conversations that were had that I overheard and that were told to me was like, man, you get her, she bad. You get her, she bad.
Yep.
And everything was about
A
sex at
status.
the time in high
It's
school.
about a status.
Yep, yep.
That's that.
Who
You
can
want a baddie? Because wasn't that a comment you made earlier in the group about somebody being a baddie? What the hell is a baddie?
Yeah, you want that bad shit. That one that well call it arm. What is it called? Arm candy.
Arm candy, yeah, because you're looking definitely at the body. You're not the sheep. Probably ain't got two pieces of brains put to
She ain't
rub
worth.
together,
What old people
but
say?
you're looking at
She
the
ain't worth two
physical
fly
part.
smashed. Old people say she ain't worth two flies smashed.
No,
Um, to answer Simone, is that Simone? Yeah.
yeah,
That's her question. I saw I saw it all through high school for me. I see it all through high school at the high school I was coaching at. And that's like last year. Like I coached there from 2015 to 2020. I hear kids, I talk to kids. Yes, it's happening. Hell, you can go and watch on certain local news. They'll have the pictures of the women that are sleeping with these teenagers, and they not just sleeping, having
Mm,
orgies, having sex parties, giving them drugs, all kinds of shit. Black, white,
mm-hmm.
whatever. It don't
Yep,
matter. It's just, and that's the thing.
yep,
That's the society we in.
yep.
Yeah. Which is crazy. So talking about that, so we keep talking about we need to have these talks and we need to have these talks. I'm glad I wrote it down. When is the question? When do you have these talks? At what age do you begin to have these talks? Because again, you can
It's
talk all
early.
day, but if they're not comprehending what you're talking about, you just talking.
That's that's the key word. When your child is comprehending what you're saying, and you think that they can handle certain things, and you have that talk. I did it with my stepdaughters. I didn't come at them uh bogus. I just set both of them down. I said, I know you in this grade and you in this grade, and I know you around your classmates, and y'all be having these talks, and they be saying different words. Let's start on the different words. I said, I'm gonna give you the technical term, and then I started with penis, and then I started with vagina, and then I said, well, those are the technical terms. I said, let's talk about the street terms. And then I said the words, and then that's what they got to giggling. And then they set up and they was listening. And it was, and I knew that they was comprehending what I was saying. And I told them what I knew. Got to
And I
start early,
agree.
man. When they
I
comprehend.
mean, I think at a point, because everybody, girls, boys, depending whatever, develop differently. So I think at that age when you realize that they can process it.
Comprehend.
Yeah. I don't think it's never too early. I just think how in depth with the conversation you go is to be used depending on maybe how old they are. I think at that point, because like, teaching them about their bodies and their no parts, that's something we shouldn't wait till you're 5. Let's just now start telling you what your good and bad parts nobody's supposed to touch are. No, let's start talking to them about those things when they're little. These are what these body parts are. They're not for other people to mess with and bother. And if you wait too late and something has already happened, now that time, it could have already been talked about, but we didn't miss the window of opportunity.
And
So why
sometimes
not
even with
have
the
them early?
conversation, it's still not what's the name? It's still not the it still doesn't prevent it. That's what I'm trying to say. Because like some people have the sex talking that first time pregnant, 13 years old.
Yeah, 13. I think that's waiting a little bit too late.
Yep.
And that's the other thing too. Like I'm reading at the comments now. We have to remember that we're talking from our points of view. So you may not see the women, the old women hitting on the boys, but we as men see it and experience it. So it's not saying that it's not true or not there is not. I'm gonna say is not fair or not right, because you're speaking from your point of view. Like again, I was an athlete. I was a coach. I see the shit all the time. I saw the shit all the time.
Okay. I don't think it's being discredited. I just think they're saying they never saw it. Everybody experiences.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you're speaking from perspective. So it's interesting. I had conversations with I got cussed out a few times, but I'm like, you a grown ass woman. What the fuck you doing with this little boy? And no, I'm not trying to hit on you, but you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And then they'll end up being the ones that get older, talking about they can't find a man to be on their level because you're not looking at a man to be on your level. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. So we talked about what else? What else? Like we talked about money.
Let's see what else we got on here. We can dissect right quick.
We talked about money. We talked about
shit like that, but nobody said like you could be going through a heartbreak in a relationship and be overwhelmed with emotion, but you still got to take your ass to work. And if you go to them people's job acting crazy, they will fire your ass. You won't be able to pay your bills. As your mama, I don't got no money to pay your bill. You will be homeless. You have to come back here. People will start judging you because you live at home. Like nobody's saying this shit. Nobody's saying like if you don't have credit, you're gonna have to work your ass off to buy everything because people are gonna look at you like if you ain't got the money, you ain't got nothing.
Okay, so something that she brought up, and I know we're kind of, most of us is kind of in their late 30s plus, whatever. The conversation, like, or that feeling after that relationship that you thought was gonna work didn't work, or that marriage, divorce didn't kick in, like, was those even conversations that were had? Like, Like, okay, well, when you, like she said, like nobody had that conversation, and when that marriage didn't work out, that you'd have to 9 out of 10 go back home to hit the reset button and get your life back together. Like,
What- Uh,
Hmm.
uh, uh.
I could say I ain't have no relationship that I could think of. I don't think I had relationship talks about that kind of stuff. Definitely not to any. Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I can say that as well. And also too, you got to look at it that, and I don't like saying it, but it's true. Um, I believe that we are the only culture that prepare our kids to be kicked out the house at 18
Mm.
versus,
I can agree with that.
you said what?
I can agree with that.
And versus being there at to, like she just said, like everybody looked at you, looked down at you because you're at home for whatever reason because something didn't work out. Versus that old village, like, okay, it didn't work out. We got your back. Let's sit down and regroup. Let's try to figure this thing out.
Mm.
We don't do that.
But we were also, for what it's worth, I don't know about everybody else, but we were also part of that generation that couldn't wait to be grown so I could get out there on my own, so I could do X, Y,
Facts.
Z with the attitudes and everything else. So when we
Mm,
hit 18, we
Facts.
wanted to party, we want to be
mhm.
grown, we want to fuck, we want to do all this extra shit when
Facts.
we should have been taking that time to prepare for life.
Ooh, so let me ask you this. I'm finna ask you this. So
Mhm.
whose fault is that?
I would not try to blame someone else for something that I wanted to do. Because I did. I was one of them people that I wanted to leave. Me going to college wasn't, oh, I want to go to college because I'm gonna go get this great ass job. It was, I want to go to college so I could get the fuck away from San Antonio. I want to do something else. I'm gonna be 18. I'm going to Austin. I'm finna turn up. I'm finna party. I'm finna do
But is it?
whatever it is that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do. That's what I'm going to college for.
And this is why I was gonna ask. Is it because you kind of answered it already? Is it because of what you saw and didn't see?
I just wanted to be grown. I couldn't wait to
That's
be
what I'm
18.
saying. Because that's what I'm trying to
So
get at. You said you wanted to be grown. The
Shit.
picture that was painted of being grown was everything that you thought that you would do. So was that? Do you think that?
yeah,
Uh, yeah. You see what I can't
It
think of it.
came from not having these conversations
is it everything
when
that
my
you
ass
want to
got
be?
out there and thought that I was grown. What was out there for me? My grandmother, pretty much for the most part, my mom, she was there, my aunties, so it was a lot of the shelter and shit that kind of went on. But when I left and I'm seeing what everybody else is doing, when they hit 18, they moving away, they doing this and doing that, going and experiencing and having fun, I wanted to do that too. So it was like, I can't wait till I can get older so I can get out here and I can do those things. Did I have to move out at 18 and go to college? I could have stayed right there at my grandma's house, stayed here in San Antonio, got a job, whatever else I wanted to do, but I wanted to be grown. So how can I fault them and say, oh, well, I left at 18. I left because I wanted to, not because I had to. I
Mm.
wanted to be grown.
So they left the door open,
So
like, hey,
you
you
think
don't.
that's
I'm not. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
so? Do you think that that's where a lot of kids are at now because their parents don't let them certain kids their parents don't let them do certain things, and then they get out here and then they experience life, and then they find out life ain't what it's cracked up to be, and now they don't know what to do beyond college.
Uh, I was feeling what you were saying at first. I can't really say like the beyond college, but I think for some people they do use it, you know, as that way out. just like I did, wanting to do something different. And that may be how they use it. I think a lot of it has to do with, because y'all know in our households, Black parents ain't gonna be letting everybody come spend the night that ain't supposed to be staying the night.
Mm-hmm.
You grown, you
Mm-hmm.
think you gonna have a man laying up in my house? No,
Mm.
you do that in your own house. You're not finna have laying up in here doing this and that in your room. You want to be grown, you go out there and be grown. And we choose to want to go be grown. So we leave the nest, a lot of us, before we have to, because we don't want to follow the rules set forth. How can I get mad at
Right.
them for not wanting me to sit up in the house trying to be grown, laying with some boy in the house? How am I gonna get mad at my parents for that? That
You're
don't make
absolutely
sense.
right.
And a lot of times people, they choose to leave for that reason. I know a lot of kids right now that could have
So
been doing the damn thing, and they had a setup in their parents' home, and they wanted to leave to chase some dingling, and that's what they did. Whose fault is that? That ain't
if they
they
catch
parents. You got a whole room at your mama house. Your mama line your pockets with money, give you XYZ, and you go chase the dick because you want to lay with it at night. Girl, you better learn how to come home before midnight, before 2, 3 in the morning, something. Keep your roof
Yeah,
over
hotel
your
room
head.
and come back the next day.
I mean, something, but to totally leave and you don't have to, it's crazy.
And got to pay bills and all that shit.
Ain't
Yep.
got to do nothing but either work or go to school. And that's what
Go
a
to
lot of
school.
parents,
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
one of
yeah.
the two. You're not going to
Yep.
lay up and do nothing, but you can either work or go to school.
Yep. And that's
We
yeah.
want
Or
to be
go to the
grown.
army.
Yeah.
Or go to the
Hell
military.
no. Let me stop. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think that goes back to like we talk about those conversations, because typically most kids see being grown as being out being out, not having a curfew,
Yeah.
not having to abide by rules, and figure, okay, once they turn 18, that's it. I don't have to do that. That goes back to them conversations of, okay, when you get grown, you got bills. You got bills, some people make you pay bills, some parents make you pay bills when you turn 18, even if you still living in the house, they're making you pay bills. Pay
That's how they
bills.
learn.
So then they turn around, or when they get out, they don't know where CPS is. They don't know where to go pay how to pay an electric bill. They don't know how to pay a water bill. They don't know you got to deposit to get these things on, because this is stuff that was not taught or learned prior.
Mm-hmm.
So then they figure, okay, well, if this is all it is, shoot, I could go out and jump out and be 18 and do it myself. And then when they jump out there, they sinking in quicksand, because
Mm-hmm.
they didn't know all of these things, because this wasn't a conversation that was had.
Yep. All
And
the
that, yep.
extras that went with it. Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
because I know.
And that goes back to what we was.
What you say?
What you say?
Oh no, I was about to say, cause people looked at me strange when I took my son to when I went to buy my house. When I went through the whole process, I took him every step to see everything that you got to do to buy a house. And people were like, why you do that? He too young. This and that. This and that. And this and that. I said to expose him to the process,
Mm-hmm.
so he'll know and understand. It's not as hard as everybody making it seem. The hardest part is getting finance and understanding your money, how your money plays a role. Outside of that, a house is easy to get. So it was like, that's too much. He ain't gonna understand that. Guess what he doing now? Looking at ways to buy a house.
What?
Well, he want to buy a condo. He said because it looks more like an apartment than a house. But it's like you said, it's those conversations exposing the kids to that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Like I was like saying, we go what we was talking about earlier with exposing kids and whatnot to the finances part. It all trickles back to that.
Mm-hmm. And another one that gets me is when we get mad at the schools for having certain conversations. And I think I posted that in the group too. Like we get upset at the schools for having conversations with our kids, but as parents, we're not having them. And it's like, how you gonna get mad at somebody trying to tell them when you're not telling them? And kind of the background behind that was it was a girl in one of our ladies groups, and she was upset because somebody else had told her daughter basically about, you know, her getting older and the whole process with puberty and having periods and stuff. And she was upset somebody else told her daughter about it, but her daughter was already 10 or 11, and she hadn't had that conversation with her daughter yet. But she was mad because somebody else did. But her excuse was, I haven't had the time to have that conversation with my daughter yet. Your daughter's 10. When the fuck you gonna have it?
I think that comes from embarrassment. I really do. I think it comes from somebody beat me to it. Cause now, cause think
I
about
think
it, it's a conversation that needs to be had. So why would you get upset? Because it
That
hurt your
somebody
pride.
did it.
Yeah, somebody did it before you did. So now you feeling you got to save face by getting upset.
mm-hmm.
Because I mean, true
Because
talk, they don't have sex education classes anymore. Because I mean, sex education beat my parents. I'll say that. Like they were trying to have a little talk with Jesus with me, and I was way past like, we did this 2 years ago, like in
The
elementary
birds and
school.
the bees.
Like
Mhm.
we had this conversation, like y'all late. You come with a book, and I'm like, I know this already.
Mhm. Yeah,
mm,
So
I
life
remember. Yep.
doesn't, yeah, and like life doesn't stop because you busy. Other things
right.
happen in life when you become busy.
Mhm. Because I want
I
to
know
say
my
what we had
mom.
that in elementary school. I want to say fifth
Fifth
grade
grade.
health is when we had the my, your body and you, or my body and me, or whatever it was
Mm,
called. We sitting in there watching the animated people
yep.
talk about their body and
Oh
growing
wow.
hair where there was no hair, type shit.
I
That was
had we had we had it was a well they called it health studies, but it was a sex education class
Mm,
in high school, and they talked about venereal diseases and all this and that because they already knew that the majority of the kids in school were having some form of sexual contact with each other. So they
mm,
went, and that's what we did. We had talked about that and had tests on it, and everybody was cracking jokes after class, and it was just
yeah.
wild. But yeah, I had it. I had it. Now I don't know about grammar school. I doubt that. But high school, yeah. But I mean, by the time I hit grammar school, I already was figuring stuff out myself. I'm like, man, I'm going head out now. I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. And I said, dang, okay, this, okay, yeah, whatever. And a lot of stuff I learned
Hmm.
through life. A lot of stuff I
yeah.
learned from reading. A lot of stuff I learned from hearing other people.
Yeah.
I take the little tidbits and little this or that because even my mom didn't. She didn't know about having a period until she had it, and
Mm.
then my grandmother just flung it over there like, "Girl, what's wrong with you?" My mama will tell you this now. She was like, "Girl, what's wrong with you?" My grandmother was like, my mother was like, I'm bleeding," and my grandmother was like, "Is that it?" Oh shoot, go in the bathroom and clean up. And I was like,
Yeah.
and even now I hear my friends, uh, uh, one of my friends just talked to her daughter about her period because she just came home with her period, and she was like, I talked to her beforehand that she was going to probably soon be getting it, and I was like, damn, that's good, that's good. So it is good to have these talks
Yeah.
all the way around at certain
Mhm.
age levels where they can comprehend, so that they can go, like you said, T, go back in that mommy memory and be like, oh, mama and daddy
Yep.
told me this is gonna happen, and this, and this. And then
Yeah.
about moving out on your own into your apartment. I've always been told that if things go sideways, they always come back home. I
Mm.
know my grandfather had said one day, he said, I got this house so that when you go out there in the world, if it don't work out, you gotta at least got a roof over your head, even if you ain't got no gas, no lights. You got this house and you paying the taxes on it. You got a roof over your head. That's it. That's all. And I was just like, when he started telling us this, but he just one day said it, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it's a lot of them 18-year-olds that got that get out and don't come back.
But let me ask you this: is that a
Yeah,
crutch?
yeah, yeah.
Is that a
It,
crutch though? Having that,
I
having
would,
that
I would,
safety net.
man.
Because I know a lot of
I'm
kids.
not.
I
I
know
wouldn't even
a
say
lot of
that's.
kids that are like that have that
But
opportunity, and they in their 40s and still living with their mom and daddy.
but who goes out here, man, in this world to just? I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna get this job and I'm gonna pay my rent and I'm just gonna fail one day because I know I got this safety net.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
think
no.
nobody.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they looking at going out there to fail. I'm saying like the people like don't even go nowhere. You see what I'm saying? Like they still
Well,
living. They have
well,
never left the
even
house.
well, 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 see, here's the thing with that. Even if something happens to that parent that they still living with, you still gotta somehow pay your rent, especially if you're not disabled or anything like that. How you gonna
But
get your bills
saying.
paid?
That's what I'm saying. Like you got people that are like still living off their parents, like staying in the house. They got a job, not paying no bills, all that shit. It's I
Right.
know some people like that, and I'm just like, bro, don't you get tired of that shit? And that's why I got the whole when they get a little company, when they want a little company, they'll go get a hotel room or go to their house. And I'm
But
just
see,
like, yeah,
I think they too damn comfortable. That's what it. I won't say too damn comfortable, but needing to have a fucking plan. And as a parent,
yes,
that's a
I agree.
conversation that needs to be had also. Have a
I
plan.
agree.
What is your plan? You're here, but what is your plan?
Yes,
Because
I
if again,
completely
you're not working, you're not going to school, or if you are working, okay, what is your plan? Like,
I totally
what is it you want to do? What do you want to have? By when? Why can't, if we can ask somebody that we plan on dating and being with forever that question, why we can't ask that to our kids? What is your fucking plan? What is your goal? What is your vision for
Hmm.
your life? Because I got your back. You can go out there and fly if you need to. And if something happens, I want you to feel like you have somewhere to come. If you fail, I don't want you to be afraid of that failure because you know you have a safety net to catch you. We gonna get you right. We gonna build you back up, and then we gonna let you go out there and try again. But what we're not gonna do is let you sit there and never go out and experience life because you're too afraid or because it's just too comfortable at home. That's what we're not gonna do.
Right.
right.
And I think that's
Right.
that difference. The difference as far as a child that's still at home that has never left versus a child that left and life happened that was out of their control and coming back. That's two totally different
Right.
situations.
That part.
No, I just want to throw that out there because, like I said, it's people out there that doing it.
I came back
Hmm.
home twice. And both times I came back home, I came back with a baby. That's how
I ain't
cold blooded I was both times. But it was never to that point where it was like that they was probably top somebody probably said something, but ain't nobody say shit to me. It's my grandma's house, and my grandma said I could come back, and damn it, that's what I did. But I didn't stay there. I came, I built myself back up, and I got my ass back out there and did what I had to do. It wasn't about staying.
Once I left, I ain't looked back because I was like, I got to do this. I have to. Now I will say this: I believe that if I had certain conversations, I had certain interactions with my seniors, I know I wouldn't be I wouldn't be in the army right now. I can tell you that too. Um, I'd be in a way better situation. I know that for a fact because
So I got a question.
what's
So
up?
with you said you lived in a car before. Was that
Mm-hmm.
that was after your college and before the military, or was that?
Yep.
And then did that make your determination even more greater to go into the military?
Hell no. I mean, my determination to get out there and hustle more, hustle harder. What made me come in the military is the fact that one, I was married to my son's mom, and she was pregnant with him. She
Okay.
was 6 months pregnant. Well, she was pregnant with him, and then I was working 3 jobs at the time, and I was like, you know what, this is not the path that I want to stay on until like this is not the path I wanted to stay on because I wanted to
Right.
be in his life more than just like how I was. Like I almost missed his birth because I was working. Uh, I only saw him like maybe 2 3 days out of the week because I was working. I was like, this is not the life I wanted, which is ironically interesting because when I came in the military, I missed his first birthday, and then we divorced when he was 4. So, but nah, when all that stuff, yeah, that just made me hustle harder, and that's why I said if I'd have had these conversations earlier in life, like, because I was making before I graduated high school, I was probably making at a part time job maybe like 15 20,000 a year, and for a high school kid, that's a lot of money, and I could,
Yep.
but me being young and stuff, I spent all that shit because I didn't see the long run. I was just seeing the checks that I was getting, and so I would spend the checks that I was getting and wait because I ain't had no. Honestly didn't have no bills. I stayed with my grandparents, so I was buying clothes, hanging out, all that crazy shit. Didn't even think to buy a car because I didn't think I could afford a car. But yeah, and then once I went to college, I was getting money different ways. Didn't think to put that up. I kept spending and spending and spending. It wasn't until honestly I started to learn about money. It wasn't until maybe I say maybe like 10 years ago that I really started to learn about money and making money work for me because I had to check myself on this because I have a hustler's mentality. This I'm gonna make money regardless. The same way I got it last time, I could get it again. And that mentality causes me at times to be really carefree when it comes
Complacent.
to money. No, to spending money. It caused me to be really carefree. But if I'd have had the conversations like we were talking about, like pay more attention to the conversations, um, I would have been in a better spot. Cause one, I'd have listened to people talk to me about athletics and stuff and having a plan and finishing something that I started for one. And the second thing is I've been smarter with my money. So and again, like I can't knock people. I can't knock nobody, but I can't knock anybody because they didn't know. My grandparents, my parents tried their best to do right. And so they didn't know, they didn't understand. All they knew was work, put your money up. They didn't know how to put your money in a position to work for you versus you working for your money. So if I'd have known that back then, yeah. But and that's why a lot of and as I talk to people and I talk to different soldiers and stuff. That's why I'm glad I'm in the army because I get to see different aspects of folks. Some of these kids come in because they literally, truly just want. Are really patriotic. They're trust fund babies. Their parents set up stuff for them. They talk about money. I got a kid. I got a kid now that he only I want to say he said he keeps $1,000 of his check. All the rest of it goes to like stocks and bonds.
Mm.
I'm like, so by the time he leave the military, he said he's just gonna do 4 years. I doubt that, but by the time he leaves the military, he could be a millionaire just by doing that. And I used to tease him a lot, saying I blew more money than you make, and that's not a brag. That's sad, but yeah.
Wow. So yeah, we are over the 2 hour mark. So
Mm,
we are going to get ready to close out. Um the next week is actually the ending of our 4th season.
yeah.
Uh so that is an accomplishment that we are proud of ourselves, to be able to be in that area. Um we will be on a break for 1 week and then come back hitting with 5th season, the last week of March. We'll be hitting back with that. Also, we'll be doing participating in Podcasters Week with one of our fellow podcasters we'll be collaborating with, and she's been on our podcast before a few different times. So we will be representing on that come before we come back. But next week it's kind of going to be a little free for all. We got so much going on in the news right now that that just ain't actually on the news, which is interesting. So next week we are doing in the news, because I know it's some stuff that I didn't see come across that is not on the news, but it's maybe on social media news, just not literally in the news. So we're actually gonna discuss some of those because it's been some crazy. Church fan could. Yes, ma'am.
Can we do blankets and PJs?
So you can be over there sleep. I'm gonna show you your. I'm gonna show you. We're gonna have to find you.
I'm just asking. I mean, it's in the news. It sounds like we doing a little shake up, something different. So, like, let's just be a little comfortable. I'm just saying. Okay. All right. That is all. My bad.
I mean, I won't say I'm against it.
Oh boy.
Um, yeah, I'm not. Oh,
Just table it. I'll put it in your inbox.
Your person over there is shaking their head. He's shaking his head. He got that old great uncle grandpa shake. It ain't even a rough shake. It just that shake.
I shouldn't be doing that because my cousin do that, and I wonder why he just be sitting there doing that, and then he'd stand up and do it. He'd be like, Calvin, Calvin, and I'd be like, it, it, it was a nervous thing in the family on that side, so I'm like,
That part. So yeah, it's that little that. So, but yeah, we're just gonna, I guess, between everybody, pull some clips that we didn't came across of some stuff that's in the news and kind of put it out there because it's been some crazy stuff going on. Like, yeah, what I didn't see in the news, I don't even want to date.
Like Jesse Smollett.
I was gonna say that. I was
that
just gonna
mess.
say that.
Yeah. So, yeah, those that kind of stuff. Some of the stuff is making the news, but there's some stuff that has not made the news that we gonna just go on and have a little talk and just discuss it. We might need alcohol for that episode because that right there, that might be a very lax episode because it's
Fill thy cup and let it runneth over.
That cup empty.
Baby, this cup empty. I need a refill.
We heard you sucking on the straw. Yeah.
That cup. You just want to bottomless cup.
That cup done got the business, Lord. We gonna pray.
It did.
I've been sucking on something else, and this would have been a whole different show. But anyway,
okay, so we're gonna go ahead and close out on that note. So we will check y'all next week at 8 Central. Tune in, enjoy. We appreciate you. Much love. We out.
Peace.